Hello, today is the 30th of January, so we are having a MicroProfile the technical call today. So please add your name to some minutes doc, and we have quite a few things to go through at today's call. First, let me turn the basically the stage to how do I see it? Terran,
Yeah,
and I talk
Tarun.
about some MicroProfile tutorial. Okay, so yeah, Terran, take us through the tutorial and etc.
Sure, definitely. So, yes, the plan is to create an official MicroProfile API tutorial. So I'm working on the new tutorial, and this is the outline or the proposal I had. I'll get into more details as we will be covering, but yes, here, since I'm kind of presenting this for the first time, I'll very much welcome any suggestions, inputs. Uh, all the content which I'm presenting is based on my understanding, but definitely, looking forward for everyone's inputs so that I can make it useful for the community. So here, the tutorial I am planning is for all the developers, basically Java developers of various experience levels, someone which is less experienced to a very experienced senior developers. So this is the target audience for the tutorial. Then I'm planning to create an online store. So here in the tutorial, readers will be walked through exercise, and which will be I'm taking Duke's Forest e-commerce app, which is being used in Jakarta tutorial, something similar, but a micro profile based version of same e-commerce application. I'll try to use so that the familiarity, whoever are Java developers looking into it, they kind of see the difference and see the implementation in micro profile, and they can connect to it well. So this is something, hands-on plan exercise which will be planned at each of the chapters. Then definitely code samples will be provided, and there will be step-by-step instructions where the application will be built upon as the readers will be moving from one chapter to another chapter. So some objectives. What will be the objectives for the tutorial? Basic understanding of microprofile, then its role in cloud native application development. So basically, when I'll be covering various specifications in the tutorial, I'll also cover some of the concepts around microservices and cloud native application development. And definitely sharing about relationship with Jakarta EE. And then covering each of the specification. So I'll go through what all specifications. So with separate chapters are planned for each of the specifications. And I'll be going through in detail about subtopics within each of these chapters.
So
So
do you
yes,
want to take questions as you go along, or you want to
yes,
take a question at the
right.
end?
I'm okay to know if exactly at the in between, if someone can interrupt, if they have any questions, then I can do it there itself. Yes, in all along, questions are fine.
Okay, so do you also cover some standalone specifications such as reactive messaging and etc. and GraphQL?
Right. So I have these chapter planned. So 11 chapters. I'll share the
Yeah,
list
you
of
can
chapters.
yeah, keep going. You can basically
Yes. Right. So that the chapters which I'm planning is introduction to MicroProfile. Then, this is setting up the environment. So first chapter already in good shape. I'll share the content also. So these are the topics for chapter 1. Then the second chapter will be more about setting up the development environment. Then I have a chapter on REST client. Then I have a chapter on MicroProfile configuration, metrics, health checks, fault tolerance, open telemetry, open API, and
It should be
JWT.
telemetry. It should be telemetry, not open telemetry. They call the MicroProfile telemetry.
Okay. So here you said open, I need to remove, and it is MicroProfile telemetry.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
open telemetry is trademarked, which is why we just call it MicroProfile telemetry, even though it's based
Okay.
on open telemetry. Yeah.
Sure, I'll correct this. So yes, and then another important question I had is that reference should be Eclipse MicroProfile all the time, or just saying MicroProfile is fine?
Just MicroProfile. Now that we're a working group, so if you look in historical documents, you'll see Eclipse MicroProfile. But since we became a
Yes.
a working group, and now it's just MicroProfile.
Perfect. Okay, sure. So I've used that mostly. Then I have a chapter on JWT authentication, and then the Jakarta EE10 core profile. So these are the chapters I have. And for reactive programming, I haven't planned a chapter, but yes, I'll consider adding chapter on reactive. So yes, maybe just inputs I would need at the high level about the chapters. Is the chapters right, or something is missed out, or yes?
Yeah, I think it also was mentioning GraphQL as well.
Okay.
Well, what we might want to consider, so I have to go back and look at the proposal, but I just want to make sure we just keep adding requirements to the proposal that he's already kind of agreed to. So, unless he's gracious enough to do so, but we could also, because we're going to have to update this from MicroProfile 7 later this year, and that's also going to change, add in perhaps new metrics, right?
Yeah.
So maybe an update could include like that change along with maybe reactive or GraphQL or whatever. We can mention them here, but tutorials and stuff.
Right. See here, I'm right now planning for 6.1, and the timeline, this particular project is, by end of February. So was around like, I started after this holiday this year, and then with, kind of coming up with these chapters by February. So yes, from that perspective, I kept the version 6.1. So what is the right version I should focus on? Is it 6.1 good enough, or 7?
Yes, 6.1 is the latest one. I think for your time frame, etc., that's the right version to focus on. What John said is the valid concern. Depend on, I think the delivery of this tutorial should be in a way we can update it. Like when
Yes.
we have like a 7 released, then we would like to update to be 7, and also can be extensible. And also, I also take a look at the kind of proposal to see. I think is yeah, ideally, I think if the reactive messaging can be mentioned, I think that would be add a different kind of flavor for this tutorial.
Yeah, but I think what John said is a great idea, having in chapter 1 these standalone specifications mentioned that are available besides the MicroProfile platform component specs that are included in 6.1.
Yeah,
And
I think
then
we should yeah, I think we should do that. And maybe, like I said, we could extend the tutorial later.
yeah.
One of the
So
thoughts I had was to, and not now, I mean, because it's not quite done yet, the new MicroProfile JWT bridge specification.
yeah,
So,
that's
I mean, like I said, it could be something that's updated down the road. I started experimenting with that a little bit, but I had to make up the annotations
mhm.
because Sergio, I think his name is, said they don't exist yet. So,
Yeah.
That would probably
anyway,
be
yeah.
in the Jakarta tutorial update.
Yeah.
Right.
No, because that bridge is in MicroProfile.
Right.
The MicroProfile JWT bridge.
Yeah, that is one of the standalone specs. The new ones as a companion to MicroProfile 7.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we're like on slide 2.
Yeah. So
So-
anyway, I think I think to answer your question, all right, Turan is correct to base on 6.1, and I understand the scope. I said you don't have a lot of time, so I think it's fine as long as it's kind of it's extensible and we can add more things as we go along.
Right. So I will just share, this document. It's the same, but I think
okay.
probably this
Proposal.
will give a better look at the chapters. So this is a Word document, but yes, same content. So here what I understood was, so I'll keep the version focus on 6.1. And then regarding the chapters, because my idea is to have an sample application built, which demonstrates microservices, and in both ways, a database driven microservice, and then also covering asynchronous communications between microservices. So these are the topics which I'm covering, basically from the standards. And this is, yes, metrics, health checks, fault tolerance. Then this telemetry I'll correct. Instead of open telemetry, I'll mention telemetry. Open API, JWT authentication. And then I heard a suggestion that JWT bridge, is that something related to this specification, or it's a new specification, or if it's upcoming, then we can just, I will ignore it for the time being.
Yeah, ignore it for now because it's not released as yet.
Yes. So now coming to, so this is the topics. It's also shared in the shared folder. I will share the link for everyone so that I can kind of get more feedback later as well. So I'll just share these URLs of the documents in the chat.
I think a good part to mention these standalone specifications is after chapter 11. So what's coming next and what else is available. So having a list to these standalone specifications at the end of the tutorial might be a good place to mention them. And
Okay.
from that point, we can easily extend then.
So you
Sure.
are probably add another chapter, chapter 12, just list the standalone spec and plus some upcoming specs. Is that what you're suggesting?
Yeah, like a summary, and yeah, what else? I don't know how to name it at the best, but after discussing the core profile and these platform-related microprofile specs, then a list of these standalone specs would be nice. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe outside outside the platform release. Okay, yeah, I think
And
it's a good
and
suggestion.
what are these standalone specs? Is the GraphQL or are there more as well, or is there just
I will mention that on the GitHub repo, Taran,
sure?
and you are basically pointing you to the. Actually, I can. Yeah, point you to the right place. So
Okay.
it's is that all the slides you have?
Yes, these are the
Okay.
slides I have,
Yeah.
and
So
yes.
okay. So the other thing is, how much progress have you made? Like, do you have anything to share with your GitHub repo or something like that? And then to make to basically track the progress. Also, you receive feedback and etc. So, what kind of format do you want people to look at what you are working on, or you come back to these meetings to basically present what you have got and to collect the feedback. So what do you want to take from here?
Yes. So yes, I have a repository which is created. This is no within my user no, but yes, definitely this I would like to move this to MicroProfile project. But for the time being, I'm working on a project within which is within my GitHub user.
Okay.
So
Okay.
here, yes, I have so some other details to share. So here, this is a kind of a rough design document or my notes while I'm kind of creating the project. So here, this is the repository which I have created to start my work. But yes, this I would like to get this created within MicroProfile. So do you know how do I get a repositories created in MicroProfile organization in GitHub?
Yeah, we can work on that. So John.
Well, so yeah, that's actually the gist of my question. Because to commit to the repos, you have to be a MicroProfile committer, correct?
John, this is different. This is what Taran said. This is belong to us, not belong to Eclipse Foundation. If you say here is Eclipse,
Sorry, but
that's
it belongs to the, well, right. But my point is, where is the final resting place going to be for this Git repo?
so we can decide whether is in the kind of Eclipse / MicroProfile - tutorial. So that would be under Eclipse. The other thing is under basically / MicroProfile. So the current.
So it would be under / MicroProfile. I mean, the gist of my question though is he would still have to be a committer to commit in that repo. Now, for now, I think keeping it where it is under his own account, where we can all, because that's where he's doing all the work and everything. We can do that work. Pull request, comment in his repo, but once it's done, the question is then going to become, if he's not a committer, how would he be able to update it later? Or do we use this opportunity as a way for him to become a committer by him doing, commits in the MicroProfile repo? Because once you have commit access to the MicroProfile repo, True, you have commit access to everything in MicroProfile, right?
Mhm.
So, because we really only have one project, so I don't know if others have thoughts on that.
I think, yeah, I think first we, what did Jakarta do? Rather, do you know?
I don't know. This is like too deep in the weeds, to be honest, with all due respect. So, just to ask Ed, maybe he might know.
Ask
Yeah, everything under Jakarta though is in a separate project,
Yeah,
right? So you
that's
could create, yeah, here it's
Yeah.
different. I mean, I'm open to the idea. I
Yeah.
think for expediency, you know, let him keep going under his own repo. And then when we're ready, we can move it over to the MicroProfile repo. And then, you know, we're gonna have some last minute updates and everything, and maybe he could do commits there, and then he could have commit rights to the MicroProfile repo.
I think, John, I
Mhm.
think your suggestion is fine. So basically, Turan can continue with this, but eventually, Turan can basically do PRs without being a committer. So you do PRs and then so many committers, so we can review and merge in. That's pretty much. Is not like you have to be a committer be able
No,
to.
true.
Yeah, I think carry on what you are doing, and then is but one thing didn't need to happen is now the more we talk about it, it probably is better to be in the Eclipse / MicroProfile dash tutorial. So we do need to have this repo created. So
Okay.
yeah, so it's kind of, we can have this, if no objections, we can ask the basically CMO to have this repo created. And then it's kind of that's pretty much the right place. And then you keep going with your local repository. Once you're confident and then pretty much you're confident, and then you can do PRs on this, and then we review and go from there.
Okay.
Yeah, well, sorry. I think my recommendation was slightly different. Yeah, we're still going to have the repo created. But my recommendation was again for expediency, he could just do everything in his repo until it's nearly final, and then move everything over.
I think that's what
Oh, are we
what
saying the same thing?
said.
Okay. All right. My bad.
We
All
are,
right.
that's fine. We are in sync on that. Yes.
Okay. Awesome.
Let's
All right.
carry on with the Torrance repo. And then we, yeah, I will take her to do and get EMO to create this repo, get us everything prepared. Yeah, I'm ready to go.
One
Sure.
small suggestion. I think naming it in the singular form would be better than the plural form. So omitting the S at the end of tutorials.
Okay. Sure.
Even if there are at the end a lot of separate tutorials, which is not the case at the moment. We have one starting. At least you can keep your repo named as you like, but when we move it over to MicroProfile, the final destination, we should use the singular form.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
sounds good. Good with me.
And yeah, so one request I have is, this is the issue which is I'm kind of updating. So maybe if at this particular issue, no, you can put the name of the repo, how I should keep it finally after no, the work is done, where to kind of move it. That would be helpful. Or ping me that name so I can kind of keep it exactly the same repo within Eclipse, and then MicroProfile tutorial is what I understood. Right?
Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. I mean, comment. Yeah.
Right. So now a few other things. So yes, coming to about the progress. So I was looking into the style guides and going through the other documentation to just get the feel of what kind of language or what kind of what is the way to do the micro profile tutorial. So going through the previous ones and other documentations and articles in Jakarta E and MicroProfile. And the technology stack which will be used for building these tutorials will be Skidoc. So yes, also spend time to familiarize myself with that. And then Antora. So did some slight play around with Antora as well. Still having some difficulty with respect to getting authorization to GitHub from so was doing some building of the tutorial where I was extracting the tutorials from multiple repositories. So here that playing around was with Antora I was doing, and I'm into I understood Antora how it works. But yes, the authorization part, I need to figure it out still. If I'm extracting documents from multiple repo, then how to do the authorization. But yes, I feel with little bit more digging into other tutorials, how it is done, or I can kind of get that, or otherwise I'll check with people who have done it earlier. So yes, this is the stack which I will be using, and Antora is based on Node and NPM. So yes, this is the technical stack which will be used for generating the site. Then yes, then yes, I just kind of detailed out about what would be the sample project. So just listed that yes, this could be the concepts which will be covered, or someone who would be doing the tutorial, he will learn all these standards or these modules. But yes, right now it is on in drafting phase. I'm just kind of putting up my thoughts. But yes, I'll streamline it as I move forward. And then here I'm kind of putting up what all sections I'm working, and as and when I'm kind of moving forward, I'm kind of updating here. So here have spent time and have got chapter 1 in good shape. So let me share that quickly. So get some inputs. So yes, this is the chapter 1, basically, which is introduction chapter. So here I have introduction, which is what will this section contain. This will be the format for rest of the chapters as well. And then what are the topics which are covered. So this is an introductory chapter. So here I'll have a microprofile introduction, and then what is the need for microprofile, benefits of microprofile and relationship with Jakarta E specification. And then this is the content I'm kind of putting up. And these are the list of specifications. So I'm introducing microprofile, and there it's a specification briefly, trying to keep this to the point and as brief as possible. But yes, a little bit more specific. Yeah, I may kind of make it more concise going forward. But yes, it's an initial draft, so maybe some lot of words I have used here. I might try to make it more to the point and easy to go through. But yes, this is then I talked about architectural philosophy.
Sorry, can I stop you for a minute? Can you go up a bit? So here
Sure.
should replace the open tracing with the telemetry. No. Scroll
Ah,
down.
yes, here, yes. Here, open tracing, okay, with telemetry. I'll
Mhm.
change. Okay, so this I have a link also to the MicroProfile, this open tracing. So I might have seen here open tracing everywhere in the site, MicroProfile IO. So
Yeah,
that's why.
it's not part of the umbrella, not part of MicroProfile 6.1 anymore. It's being replaced.
Okay.
This is now a standalone specification.
Yeah.
Sure. So then I'll change it to open telemetry. So maybe yes, again, if you can give me the link of the, so telemetry, will it be a different specification with a different page?
Yes.
If
Okay.
you go to microprofile.io website, you can see the whole thing.
Okay, sure. So this is the telemetry. I should change it.
Yeah. So telemetry is a new spec.
Okay, sure. Right. So because the earlier I worked with MicroProfile 5, so I might have used from there all this, but yes, I'll change this. This is a nice input which I got. And so yes, now this is, and I'm trying to also come up with some diagrams. So for example, a mind map here, so that make it more interesting, or this also looks aesthetically pleasing for readers. So yes, this is about microprofile architecture, and then I have yes, need for microprofile, benefits of microprofile. So with respect to microservices, cloud native, all these points I have kept. So as I said, I might try to further edit it and make it more concise. Yeah, go ahead.
One question regarding the image of the mind map. Do
Yes.
you add the source where you generated the document from, or was that a presentation tool, or?
Yeah. So this is generated from plant UML. I
Ah,
can put the
perfect.
source,
Yeah.
put the source also. Yes.
Perfect.
Right. So I'll keep the source, and right now I have the PNG image which is generated out of it. But yes, I'll put the source for all the diagrams. If I'm generating it, I'll either use plant UML or draw.io. So I'll keep the source in both the cases. So yes, basically this is mostly the theoretical chapter, and then every chapter will have a conclusion. Now I have started getting into the flow of creating content. So probably, yes, every 1 or 2 days, I'll be able to create multiple sections and few chapters. So I'm planning to do it maybe up to 3 chapters in a week. Right. And then also getting it reviewed. And then, yes, this is how I am kind of planning to proceed. But yes, exact plan I will be able to present in the next meeting, in the marketing meeting. About, yes, when I would like to do a milestone demo and then the final demo.
Yeah, sounds good. The other thing is that we know we saying keep on working in your own personal repo. Now I'm thinking, I don't know what are other things. Once you finish basically one chapter, if you want basically when you're happy
Yes.
with that chapter, maybe it was to do a PR to the final destination. So basically we don't have a huge amount of work to review. I don't know what others think. We just review. Depending on how do you want to group it. Do you want to do like a work on 3 chapters, or you would like to get one chapter and then you work on the chapter 2, we review chapter 1, give you feedback, and then you can take in and yeah, evolve.
We can also do reviews on his private repo, making comments, and then yeah, you can add that. So then we can give feedback all the time and don't have to wait for milestones, for example. And at
Yeah.
the end, when it's moved or when we do the final review, yeah, then we can do it on the MicroProfile side too. But at the beginning, that's not necessary, I would say.
I'm just thinking if you have PR, it's much easier to comment. But anyway, if yeah, that's just a thought.
Yeah, but we can do PRs to him, to his repo.
Yeah, I know. I mean, if Turan has PR, we can comment which sections and etc. But anyway, that's my thought. Okay, John.
Oops, sorry, I had to go find a mic. So where does the code exist? Will it be, it's in the same repo and each chapter will have code for that chapter? Is that how, I mean, so what's the approach for the code?
Yes, for the code, there will be a separate repo.
Okay.
Yes,
All right, that's all I wanted to know. Thank you.
right.
So
So
which
the plan
which
is,
sorry, which repo you store your code?
right. So I will just share how I was planning.
And also, can you also explain why it's kind of why not to be in the same repo?
Yes, right. So here, so yes, this is how no I'm planning to that there will be the source code repo, which will contain the source code, which is used inside the tutorial. So it will be in a different repo because it will be all about Java code. And if I put it here, then this will, to get it well organized. So having examples as a separate repo makes sense because otherwise readers, they have to really find it, they may find difficulty in getting the code. So this
Yeah,
repo is used for just publishing the tutorial, the documentation part, but the source code will be in a separate repo.
yeah. One
So yes,
problem
this
that could we end up if somebody adds examples or modifies them, they could get out of sync with the tutorial. And your examples are related specifically to that tutorial, and changing or fixing something that will be referenced in the tutorial document if you create a PDF or a website out of it. Then it is not in sync. So having Maven submodules for the tutorial and the example in one Git repo ensures that changes are made together and are in sync, and not different repos with different issue trackers and yada yada. So you don't have to sync it up manually, which is horrible at the end. So for maintenance reasons, I would suggest putting them in one Git repo named MicroProfile tutorial and having submodules for the document part, which is rendered as a website or a PDF document at the end, and a module for the examples might be a good idea.
Yeah, I agree with
Sure.
Ian. I think is the more repo you created is at the moment we want to consolidate repos. The other thing is kind of I have a concern about autosync. I prefer the modules. Basically, you have the top level, so pretty much is for the main doc. And then you have kind of the building documentations site. That's I will say documentation and site and the UI and examples. But you can like choose the names and etc. But overall, I think yeah, just create a Eclipse / MicroProfile dash tutorial makes more
Sure.
sense.
One suggestion I have, and I'm not quite sure if this is 100% efficient, is to have a spec folder under the main repository and use the Maven plugin to generate, all your ASCII doc into PDF or HTML. This way, everything's under the same repository. Now, you mentioned Antora, and I think Spring migrated over to that. I haven't had any experience with that, so I'm not sure, if Antora would be able to be rendered. Like
M4 is, I don't have time to use it, for Camel is using that for the documentation too. And that's very powerful because it can generate from different repos in-sync documentation website at the end. And also for different versions if you want to maintain that. That is very powerful. So Anthora only need to be configured. Multi-module structure should not be an issue.
Yeah, also
Yes.
OpenLiberty doc also use Antora. So it's the other thing is probably I wouldn't say spec because this is not spec. Anyway, we can talk about wording modules like a name. Yeah, we can talk that offline, the wordings. The other thing is that we have 15 minutes to the top of the hour. Do you have any other questions and etc.?
So just one, no, I want to just find out how should I get my tutorials reviewed. So I will be doing the content in my repo. So how do I communicate that, if I am ready for getting some reviews on the tutorials, if I finish few chapters, how should I communicate?
I think the best communication is send send a basic email to the Google group and plus the MicroProfile yeah, and then also the other group. I will put
This group, you
comments.
mean?
Yeah, Google group.
Perfect. Okay, yes. So in the MicroProfile Google group, I'll send email, and this way I can kind of get the attention about reviewing the tutorials.
Yeah.
You can also send it to the MicroProfile -WG for working group mailing list to get attention if you have something for review.
Okay.
You can send to basically the email there. I will put note here to give you exact the email address. So
Sure.
yeah, you one email you just put both email address and then both the MicroProfile Google group and the other working group will get it.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay, so that's great.
Okay.
And then we basically is and then let us know whenever you want to come back. Maybe is you want to come back every yeah. Is it since you want to finish in February time?
Yeah.
I don't know whether you want to come back every 2 weeks or something.
Yes, I will come back in every 2 weeks.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Are there any other questions for Taran? Okay, if not, thank you so much, Taran. That was
Yeah.
great. Yeah, awesome.
Thank you very much. Thanks for
Yeah.
coming so late.
Yep. Awesome. Thanks.
Okay. Okay then, so Let me share my screen. With see. So this is a kind of the tutorial. So basically the action. So it's I will file a kind of the request for EMO to have this repo created. This is the name. And then in the kind of the Turan, are you still on the call?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay, can you also put your personal GitHub repo, also the doc link to that marketing issue? So in the meanwhile, like people can log on to your personal GitHub repo and scan through what you have done so far and maybe be able to provide any feedback.
Sure. I will
Yeah.
do that in the issue. Should I also do it in the meeting minutes?
Oh yeah, go ahead to put it in the meeting minutes. That would be awesome. So you got a link, right? You can edit it.
Yes, I should be.
Yeah, okay, thank you. I think for the we will quickly probably we'll skip the AI discussion because we only have 9 minutes. We remain like this one on the offline, and then we revisit like hopefully in the live hangout if we had time to there, and then following week we can have more conversation on the AI discussion.
Can I just make one quick comment about the MicroProfile AI?
Yeah.
I think there is well, maybe an effort. There was a Google Doc that Ivar posted in his blog, and there's potential for Jakarta AI specification.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, given given everything that's been going on the last couple of years, but I just thought I'd mention that. I don't know if anybody else knew that.
Yeah, we know. So, to be honest, you know, Microsoft position is still evolving on this, but at a high level, we don't really want something AI related in Jakarta yet because we feel that's not the right place for something like this. It's a, you know, fast moving, very amorphously evolving space. So we would definitely, from a Microsoft standpoint, and we have voting, of course, we have voting power in both of these places, but we would most likely vote against anything in Jakarta for AI at this point. And, you know, would have a preference for having something in MicroProfile instead.
Now that's yeah, like I said, this is just very early. This was just some discussion on beyond Jakarta EE11. So, and there were a number of other potential specifications. I can find the link to that Google Doc and I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah, I also think kind of it's better to be because there's some dependencies on some other libraries and etc. Potentially, I think also we are pretty much tested out. So things are moving along. I think backward incompatible changes will come all the time. So I think probably it's better for you to be here.
Should I put that link in the minutes?
Yeah, go ahead. You put in, yeah. Thank you. Oh, I got thanks. Thanks, Mike. So we will basically have more conversation like as we go along, and also I did a little bit more kind of thinking along the AI, the programming model, with some inspiration from Spring AI and all the other launching 4G experiment and etc. Please do the similar, do some thinking and etc. So we can get together again to discuss more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Mike. So the other thing is, John, I think is probably is better to have a quick go with the migration, or do you want to do the SMO first? You are on mute if you are talking. But anyway, let me quickly go through the 7.0 first. So the MicroProfile 7.0, so it's the basically the next checkpoint is basically the February 12th February. Want to basically do the plan. So next week, a week after, probably we need to all the spec need to think about what to like the scope for the release, and basically so far I think is a REST client. So it's yeah, probably James, I know you are on the call. Probably it's kind of going to be very possible to have a release. John, go ahead.
I was trying to find the window. It's a problem with having too many virtual desktops. Yeah, on the wiki, just go take a look. Play around with it. It's just a test repo, and that's probably what we're going to do. Is use something like that, but in the context of the MicroProfile repo. So just take a look at the link and play around. Add pages if you want. Test. So not final in that, you know, we may decide once it's moved over, migrated over, to update content and stuff. I kind of prefer to do that after we do the migration. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks, John. I did have a quick glimpse of that. It looks good to me. I will take a further look, but I invite you all to take a look. So thank you for taking the step on that. It's really good.
Yep, no problem.
Okay, for the REST client, James, do you want to say anything about the REST client?
There's not really much to report. We're kind of at a standstill in some ways, just because we don't have anybody that's working on the spec that can actually commit to anything, so we can't close issues or merge anything. So we're kind of in a.
I thought I merged something, but
you did.
Yeah,
you did, but we can't really. We had like the call last week, and there wasn't many issues we could triage, mostly for the fact that we don't have permission to really do much there yet. I know that is something that's being worked on, so I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I'm just saying that that is one kind of like issue that we have. But everything seems, we did have a good discussion with our last meeting, and I don't think that any of us see an issue with being able to produce a 3.x. Or I think the only question we had, maybe we did have one, Jim's I think on the call too, but I think we were curious if I think the current upstream is set at 3.1, which seems okay, but we weren't sure. There was something that came up where we wondered if we needed to change it to 4.0. Do you remember, Jim, by chance?
What was it? Yeah, I'm trying to think of it too.
Yeah, I just remembered it.
If there was a deprecation in there that we're going to remove, was there something like that? Because that would be like one of the primary reasons we'd have to, in fact, almost the only reason I can think of that we'd have to do that.
Yeah, so maybe there wasn't something.
It's not springing up to my mind. And James,
Okay.
I did mention the committer thing with Emily, and we'll be working on that, but I think we need to get more from the sound of it, we're going to need to get some more pull requests put in, a little bit more material that we can justify a committership. Until then, Emily has volunteered to help us bring anything in we need to.
Yeah,
Okay,
so basically you can tag me along once you have the PR. Also, I nowadays pay more attention to my kind of the also GitHub emails as well. try to basically review it and merge for you. If not, I mean, basically within a couple of days, just tag me along. I will. And also you can ask Jim to find me.
Yeah, I can. But
Okay.
yeah, I agree with James. I think Emily, maybe just for at least right now, you can mark it as a minor. If for some reason we find the reason that we couldn't do what we wanted to do, and we had to go to a 4.0 to do that, it wouldn't be for anything major anyway. It's just whether it's one of those things like you can't delete something. If you deprecate it, you can't delete something unless you're on a full release boundary.
Okay, sounds good. Thank
Maybe
you.
that type of thing. If I recall right, James, it's got to be. Pretty sure it's got to be something like that.
Yeah, it was. I can't remember exactly what it was. I just remember it came up, and now I don't remember why.
Well, you remembered at least that much. I wouldn't have. So
I think a breaking change might be the parent POM changes and therefore the dependencies to the Jakarta EE version as a requirement. That could be one of the points you might have discussed.
Yeah, it could have been because it is, talking about upgrading to Jakarta REST 3.1. But there's no real breaking changes in there, with the exception of by documenting the deprecation of @context injection.
Okay. I think maybe it's kind of also, I think for the upgrading the dependencies. I think we do a kind of offline conversation, basically send
Sure.
clear message about basically whether it's major or minor release. I think is we discussed last time, but not
Okay.
I haven't reached any concrete conclusion. But we do need to basically revisit that and make a clear statement so that you know exactly whether the major or minor release if you update the kind of the parent POM, basically
Okay.
replace on other eaten. Okay, we can go from there. Thank you. And all the rest, I think, is all basically is yeah, is making some progress. And then it's kind of the pretty much business as usual. And today we did have a config call as well and discuss the next release as well. And then we meet up again next week to work out what kind of release for MicroProfile config as well. So thank you all, and I think we are making some progress. Keep up your good work, and then we will talk again at next week's live hangout as well. With that, thank you so much, and talk to you soon. Bye.
Great to see
Thank
everyone.
you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.